Hi guys, I just want to carry on from my last video on my mini book page flip, where I was working with a page from a magazine, Daphne's Diary as it happens, and basically this is my finished result. But what if you want to change the paper size up or down? Well, I've gone down by i.e. I've taken my book page and this time ripped it in half and made one half the size. So it's a mini of a mini. And I just wanted to share with you the sizes and how I'm now currently working in these little mini book journals. So on the end of the last video, I shared with you on the tutorial how to use a full book page and also discussed the fact that I've gone ahead and gessoed my work. This is because you can see that there are still images and writing on these particular book pages, but by having gesso you can now go ahead and stamp and write a little bit easier, and that is the general purpose of what we are trying to achieve. Little books of journaling fun without major concern about what we're working on. It's also nice to have a mixed media background. So we went ahead and took a Daphne's Diary book page and I folded it half, and I've literally ripped it after I folded it on itself and to make a nice crease, and ripped it by hand down the centre. Now the page measures 9 inches down by 5 5/8 across. Using my quilter's rule, I measured this rectangle because the principle is we need an L shape. We need a thinner top and a fatter bottom. The bottom will always be the book pages and the top will always be the front with a little possible flap. If you want to use it and glue it to hold tags, you can, or you can actually use the bottom to write, and so it just gives you a bit more journaling space. Once you go ahead and cut out your right hand section, the little rectangle, we can consider actually making some tags with the section that you've taken away. In my case, I do have a Cuttlebug, I do have some die cuts, but I'm thinking about using every ounce of scrap of paper. By actually drawing around a physical tag, I can virtually make it butter up. And I find that if I use my Cuttlebug, and this could be technique on my behalf, I always end up with larger sections of paper where I just cannot put the die cut. So I can find it a little bit of wastage. Here I've actually gone ahead, and this piece I'm now just gessoing all of my pages straight from the beginning. And this obviously is already gessoed, ready to be stamped, which I've gone ahead and stamped with some very small images that I've got from the works. And I do believe that the works in my local area has now closed down, so I'm afraid some of these stamps will be much harder to locate. Once you have cut out your L shape. Now the reason why I'm going backwards here is that my video camera cut off on my previous tutorial, so I've already cut this section out. I'm working on the principle that this is your L shape, fat to the bottom, thinner to the top. You literally will take your long thin section, fold it down. You will have a flap that goes below your large section. You can choose to turn it back on itself, and this will be the flap where you can incorporate, if you glue it, you can incorporate a tag, 2, 3, or you can decide to leave it open and then you've got an area that you can journal. I kind of like the idea of it being neat and flush. You take your larger section of the L, fold it back on itself, and yet again crease and fold it back on itself again. In this case you're going to get a thinner section at the back. It's not a full page, but you can glue those flaps, and yet again you've now got another tuck spot for journaling tags to go in at the back. And so this is the principle that I've started to play around with here on this particular one. So we've actually got a section here on a bigger book page that can be pulled down, and you've got journaling, stamping. I've got an old photograph here that I've cut out by hand and just given a hole punch. I've used some more of the magazine and just cut out sections of scrap. We've got more decoration at the top. We've got a little stamp, never forget. So, and then we turn across. I've used a postage stamp here, another old photograph, and yet again we've got, when I said stamp, I've got some stickers that I've used here. And this is another little variation, but I've started to work on these minis. So hopefully that will encourage you to not feel intimidated, and that you can think about using large book pages, large magazines, or even much smaller. Anyway guys, that's what I've been up to. I look forward to hearing your comments, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.